Aloha and welcome to Healing Ways with Kayla Ray. I'm checking in today because it's been a few days since I did my last video, and there's some reasons for that. I've been feeling under the weather, and you might be able to hear it a little bit in my voice. There's been just a lot going on and going around. And I thought, what a perfect time to talk about that kind of stuff, because it happens to us frequently, in our lives, and it's another opportunity. So illness in the body can signal a lot of things. And we've been talking about ways to look at things in different perspectives, as well as messages from the universe. And so body signals can oftentimes be a message, especially long-term illnesses. They're often the greatest teachers. And they can show us a place where there's an imbalance, where there's something we need to work on. And Louise Hay, for people who are into her, she has some amazing books about how we can heal ourselves and what some of the illnesses in different parts of the body might be signaling for us. But everything is, of course, individual, and there's a lot more going on than we know. It's not always a message. It's not always something you need to do or something it's telling you. Yes, the universe is messaging us and talking to us constantly. We're getting messages from our higher selves, our guides, our angels, whatever else that's communicating with you in your life. We're absolutely being signaled. There's absolutely messages out there. Not everything that happens is a message. It might be part of the gameplay. We talked earlier about transformational crises and how some things need to be moved around. And they're playing this game of chess that happens on multiple levels, right? We don't see all of the levels. So an illness, it could be a message. Absolutely it could. And I encourage you to look there first. It also could be a game move. And so that's what I'm looking at here. When I'm looking at my illness, which has been coming on and going and coming and going and coming and going, it's actually quite frustrating. I have some chest congestion, some buildup, some sinus stuff. My throat's been real scratchy, headache, body aches, little bit fever, little bit the body's heating up and then it's cooling down. And I can look at all of those things and see what it's doing for me and to me. The biggest thing is I've been forced to rest. And for me, as we know, we've talked about how I do a lot and it's hard for me to take that downtime. So, the universe took down my computer. It was time. It happened. It's all good. I needed that in that divine timing. I needed that to kind of do a little less. But to be honest, other than typing on the computer, I haven't really put down much else. So I definitely can see where this illness is helping me to slow down and say I needed to rest. So that can be part of it, a message. But some other parts are also in there. There are multiple layers to this. I think it's more than just that. Einstein was kind of famous for saying that no problem can be solved at the same level of consciousness with which it's created. And I think that's so true for everything we do. We have all of these problems, imbalances, and things that happen in our lives. Maybe it's a misdirection we're going in, or maybe there's another phase of our mission that we're here on earth to do that's coming up. We can't understand it at the same level of consciousness with which we're living it at, with which we're creating these situations, these problems, these challenges for us. So there's other levels which we can't see on. And part of our expanding our awareness, our options, our perspective is just being aware that there's other levels and being open to that and okay with that. So I've been noticing that I'm not the sole person who's dealing with this illness, and not just that there's a few other people. It's been a lot of people. A lot of my clients, a lot of my family, friends are dealing with these on and off again illnesses right now. And we can say part of that's, weather changes, pressure changes. Sure. That's absolutely true, but there's also multiple levels. And so for those of you who are aware, we're going through consciousness awakening, consciousness development, the human potential is expanding. People talk about things like the energetic flu or the ascension symptoms. And that's something, if you're totally unfamiliar with, you can completely Google or search here on YouTube and find so much material, it's overwhelming. But I do think there's something to be said about the fact that we're going through this consciousness shift. Our bodies too must shift. It's not an isolated thing. Our consciousness, our state of beliefs are not isolated. They necessarily interact with our body and the physicality of us on every level. As we change our thoughts, so too our body must change. And so even when I was sick, I was getting these messages. One way my intuitive understanding comes through, and I'll totally do a video on this, is about songs. I get little song quips, little melodies, little choruses, little lines, specific lines from songs in my head. And I was getting Jason Mraz part songs in my head saying, "Life is wonderful." I was feeling kind of crappy, and I was getting this like, "Ah la 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 la, life is wonderful. Ah la 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 la, life is full circle." I'm getting that in my message, and I'm going, what is that? And I keep repeating it over to myself. And when I'm getting these messages, I know, especially when they're out of the blue, that's not coming from me. There's something telling me that. So it's reminding me that this is perfectly on par for my path. It's part of it. And because so many people are going through it, I think this is part of the stages of our changes. And the word that came up for me in reflection today, as I'm kind of just sitting, thinking about it, meditating about it, is recalibration. Recalibrating. I think my body is recalibrating to everything that's happening, everything that's going on. And isn't that what happens when we sleep? When we rest, aren't we recalibrating? There's parts of us that gets healed. There's parts of us that gets re-energized, that integrates all the messages, the things we've been learning. So when we're sleeping, like I've been doing a lot of, our body is going through all of these changes, and my brain waves are going through all of the different states through its sleep cycle. You know, I'm going from beta to alpha to delta to theta, all of these things, and every one of those states has a gift that they bring to me. So maybe that's part of the message. And maybe not fully understanding is, again, an opportunity to trust the universe, trust the process. So in this time, I'm going to try and take more care of myself. I'm going to stop things. I've been forced to cancel sessions, be done with work for a while, which can be hard because for those of you who are like me, kind of contracted, or if you're part-time, you don't have sick time, and it can be that fear that comes up. But that's an invitation to trust the universe. Trust that our prosperity comes in other places. I'm going to have that faith. Do what I need to do my part. I'm going to take my mamaki tea, my local honey, my vitamin C. I'm going to get my rest, do all the things that I need to do. And then I'm going to trust that maybe I can't fully understand everything at this level of consciousness. I know that part of mine is to rest, and the rest is up to the universe. So if you're getting ill, or if things are happening in your life you don't understand, check for what it's teaching you in the moment. What is it changing in your body? Find any messages you can that apply to it, and then let the rest go. Surrender. Trust the process. Know that the universe has your back. And a thing that I've learned from my spiritual center, from my unity, is that everything is happening for my greatest and highest good. I believe that. And because I believe it, so it is. So remember to trust in the process. You are exactly where you need to be. This is all happening for a reason. You'll find it, and if not, just know that it's there. So thank you for listening to today's Healing Ways, and until next time, aloha.